And welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again this week. As promised, I have more info on the energies of fatigue and vivid dreams, plus some messages about people crossing over. So we're going to talk some kind of lighter-hearted energy stuff, and we're also going to talk a little bit of, we're going to tackle the topic of death, people crossing over, but with purpose. So not to leave anyone feeling heavy or sad, but more in a place of understanding. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. I truly am honored. I appreciate it. If this is the first time you're joining me, please do hit subscribe, because I will be giving away 2 free readings once I hit 500 subscribers. So with that being said, I'm going to start the podcast. And welcome everyone to the Ginette Biro Podcast. I'm Ginette Biro, and today I have some messages from the 3 Guides of the Light. I sure do enjoy their energy and their presence. I have such an affinity for them. They have been with us since the start of this world pandemic of 2020, and they've been offering information and insights as we move through the experiences of this year. So I'm just going to dive right into it. And so one of the base things they said, and I'm going to go into their whole message. So there was a long message. So there's much that I'm going to just read for you from everything that was written down as they channeled through. So first they said, we want to share with you some important energies that you may be seeing and experiencing on your planet. Firstly, we wish to speak about the ascension energies of fatigue and vivid dreams that you may be feeling. And then we wish to share what is happening with the energies of more people crossing over recently. And before I get ahead of myself, I'm gonna run with the order here, because otherwise I'll be all over the place. So in regards to the ascension energies and fatigue, I know there's been a lot of discussion on the different groups that I'm a part of, and also if you haven't joined yet, the Avalon Spirit group on Facebook, do join. There's lots of information, lots of people sharing info, insights, understandings. I love it. I'm grateful for all of you that are already on it. But as you all know, we are in such a heightened time of ascension energies. And so what the 3 Guides of the Light had to say was, this means that your physical bodies are undergoing energetic and cellular changes to be able to embody a higher soul frequency. A higher soul frequency means the ability to achieve a higher consciousness, to move from 3rd level consciousness to 5th level consciousness. This is a wonderful thing, but it can be uncomfortable for the body during transition. We can call these upgrades light code activations. These activations are happening from the sun, from the moon and the stars, from higher beings, and from you simply opening your minds and asking important questions about life and searching for meaning, understanding, and growth. All of that, all of those things. It's multifaceted. All of these things help to create the light code activations. Just as the specific words we're using and the sound of Ginette's voice and this transmission are part of activating these light codes within. This is called transduction. And I was impressed they gave me that word, because I actually had to Google it. I had a faint idea, but I had to actually Google it. And basically they are helping to activate these light codes that exist within our DNA to allow us to raise our consciousness to where we are meant to be. And so it's essentially that. Some people are like, well, what is a light code? It's an unlocking of a frequency within to allow for higher consciousness. That's already been within our DNA, within our cellular structure and our energetic structure, but it's been dormant. So it's being opened up. And so the interesting thing, they continued saying, they said, the interesting thing is so many people are feeling this right now and are willing to talk about it. People are at the state, they are perceiving energetic differences. They are noticing they are exhausted. They are thinking, what else could this be? What is making me so tired? That question alone is one of the greatest questions you can ask about opening up your consciousness. The same goes for the other myriad of symptoms, from headaches, buzzing in the ears, dizziness, and so on. The wonderful thing is you are not assuming you know what it is. You are asking what it is, and we are happy to say that in many cases, these are ascension symptoms. This is similar to when you start a new fitness routine. And sidebar here, I love that they used fitness as a reference, because the guides, any of my guides, will always use references on earth to explain something. And being a kinesiologist and personal trainer in the past, I know a lot of you on here are very much into fitness too. This just made sense. It clicked. And so they said, this is similar to when you start a new fitness routine. You begin a new workout and your muscles are sore, but as you practice, your muscles get stronger. It is the same with ascension. You may feel extra tired, unusual fatigue, even when you've slept well. You may suddenly want to have a nap. The key is to listen to your body because it is busy morphing and changing within. So again, just like when you start a new fitness routine, your body has to adapt. There's an adaptation phase, right? That's basically what's happening. So when you recognize your ascension symptoms, they said the important thing is to ask the body what it needs to nurture itself. Honor and allow space for this to happen. It may be sleep. It may be grounding outside with your feet in the grass. It may be drinking extra water, and it may be journaling thoughts. It may be sun or moon gazing. It may be a nurturing bath with essential oils. That's one of my favorites. The important thing they said is to ask the body what it needs. By asking, you're inviting the thoughts to honor your body, mind, and spirit. And this is when we start working that beautiful flow. The other thing to emphasize is the fact that more people are noticing this, and this is evidence of the changes that are happening that we have been talking about. And if you guys recall, those of you that have been following me throughout 2020, I believe it was maybe in July, the spirits came through, the three guides of light came through really quick, and one day I was doing a workout and they said, it's happening, the changes are happening, they're here, we're excited. And I was like, which part? And I did a post with you guys, but I wasn't able to explain as much. But what they were talking about was the initial shifts of this like kind of tipping point. It was happening energetically. And so these changes are now rising from the depths of the soul and are showing themselves in the bodies of many people. So I want to highlight that. The fact that so many of us are feeling these ascension symptoms means so many of us are becoming more conscious. That's huge. That's huge. Even those that are at a point of saying, I never thought of that. That could be why I'm tired. That's a big step. We need to celebrate that, right? So they said this is exciting news as now it is becoming more tangible. It's not simply an energy in the ethers. It is a tangible change in the body, which is making it more real. They said this energy is deeply connected to all things, but please know that it is significantly supported by the archangels. These beautiful high frequency beings are helping to support the activations of these light codes in your body. They said these light codes will help to support your minds to think bigger. So welcome these changes. Invite these changes and know that the energies of fatigue may be your own physical body activating and ascending into 5D consciousness, which is cool. Now, one thing I do want to say really quickly, because this was just talked about in one of the feeds on the Avalon group page, was that how to deal with some of these ascension symptoms, especially when it's more like you feel like you're being pulled from this reality or it pulls you from your present mindedness here. In that case, definitely feel freedom to say to spirit like, hey, I need to be really present here for this, or can we connect in this evening at 7:00 and I will be 100% available to you. Like, you still have the allowance of having a voice, having an opinion based on your life here too. So remember, you're balancing the energies of a human, having a human life, and your spiritual consciousness as well. So keep that in mind. Now, the next thing they wanted to talk about was the ascension energies of vivid dreams. How many of you guys have been having vivid dreams? I don't even know how many days I'm on now of being woken up 3-4 times a night, each time from a vivid dream, super vivid dream. Now, this is really exciting based on how they explained it. So they said there is a lot of communication happening now in dream space. Vivid dreams are also an indicator of what is happening with ascension energies. This is because so many people have increased their frequency. This is a secondary indicator of the shift. It is the ability to communicate more in vivid dreams. People may find dreams so vivid that it is waking them up to full consciousness during their sleep, which is totally what I'm experiencing, and I imagine a lot of you guys are as well. Vivid dreams can occur in the delta, theta, and gamma states just before waking. This is a beautiful communication state, especially that really light one, that one that's right under consciousness. I believe it's delta waves. That one is right under that waking state, which is also equal to the state that you get in meditation. And that's when that vividness and that memory of the dream happens. And so they said, the trick is to understand that vivid dreams are a combination of messages and musings of the mind. Sometimes they morph and entwine to create a strange message. If that is the case, you must drop down into the base feeling of the dream to see what it's about. Often dream state is not literal, it's about the feeling, right? So just consider that. Again, I will give you guys an example of, I know now from patterns, because when you start to see patterns in your dreams, you can understand them better. Whenever I have a dream in which I'm trying to save my daughter's life, no matter where we are or what we're involved in, if I'm trying to save her life in the dream, it's usually a dream that is prophetic, something that is about to happen. Because in several dreams where I've been trying to save her life in a particular event, then that event has happened. So I'm saying this because when I have a dream of having to save her life, it's not about having to save her life because she's in danger in real life. But that aspect is an indicator to me of a prophecy or premonition, right? So that's my indicator. You guys might have a totally different indicator. And that's why they're saying, go to the feeling of the dream. What do you feel the important aspects were, or the feeling? And then notice what you notice as you move through your dreams, especially when they're so vivid right now, which again is why journaling is so valuable, having a dream journal or even a notepad near your bed to write them down, right? And there's messages in there. And so the encouragement from Spirit is to invite in this energy of dreaming. Invite it in consciously before you go to bed. This way, Spirit does not have to push messages into the dream. If you invite in dream messages, you provide a place to embrace it, and the energy is more refined. And you also add consciousness to the understanding of dreams, and then you have even clearer messages. And so they said waking in the night or vivid dreaming means the communication is happening. It is supporting your ascension energies, so really do invite it in. And I want to say, if some of you are feeling that some of your dreams are getting really warped or turned scary or something, that's a fear-based trigger within you. And so the question is, why is that being triggered? It could be connected to a past trauma, or it could be connected to an anxiety. And so it's for you to ask why that's happening. Because again, it's communicating something to you that is either being a block or something that can be released. So again, multi-layer messages within dreams. And so the third thing they wanted to talk about, and this one is, I'm always wanting to be really delicate about talking about people crossing over, because I can talk about it from a very spiritual perspective, but then there's also the very human perspective. The human perspective has a lot of emotion connected to it, whereas the spirit perspective, it's in the greater picture of everything, right? So this is what they said. They said, we have brought you the positive and enlightening aspects of this post. It is also important to tackle the topic of death now. It is important to shine a light on this, as you are likely to see more souls departing the planet right now and in the next while. And if we look back in the last couple of weeks, probably about 3 weeks, there have been many souls that have chosen to cross. And they said there is a purpose behind that. This is not a fear-based statement either, so please hear this clearly and calmly, okay? It's delicate, it's fair. They said this happens often before a big revolutionary change, and it is a part of the ascension process on your planet. Souls exit when people have accomplished what they intended on a soul level, and they choose not to be a part of the coming change. This is not to mean that the conscious mind of the person chose to exit. It is not the conscious mind, it is the soul mind. There are times when the conscious mind and soul mind merge on occasion. That is usually shortly before they pass, when they have made peace with where they're at and understand that it is simply a transition. So remember, we're talking conscious mind decision to leave before a revolutionary phase. Okay, soul mind. It's a soul mind decision. Conscious human mind might not be on board, but soul mind is. As with many cycles of change on the planet, it is common to see a large number of souls cross within a time frame that precedes the event of change. It is important to recognize that this decision of souls to exit before a cycle of shift or revolution is something that is decided mostly on a soul level. So you will want to recognize you are dealing with two things. Again, this is what I jumped in and said: human consciousness and soul consciousness. There are times when the two are working together, and there are times when they are working on separate levels. It's important that this be really clear, because again, there's so much emotion connected into death. And even for me, having lost different people in my life, even though I can technically communicate with their spirit, you miss the physical incarnation of the person no matter what, right? So there are times when the two souls, like I said, are working together, the two aspects, consciousness and soul, and there are times when they're not. So when we say a soul has decided to leave, we're talking about the soul consciousness. The human consciousness doesn't always know it's time to go. Just as we saw in the winter, many of us experienced within our friends and family that there were people that decided to exit. This preceded the first wave of COVID. Those souls decided they did not need to be here to experience the potentials of sickness or potentials of the chaos, even energetically. They took the exit prior to that phase. You are seeing the same thing now as you step into the energies of fall, which will be revolutionary in many ways. So you may see many souls exiting, but what you need to remember is your perspective of death is the loss of someone, but the perspective of the person crossing over is a remembering and returning to a place of peace and harmony, and an understanding of your world and the world beyond from a much greater perspective. This is all part of the ascension process. See it and know it is happening as it should. We love you and thank you for listening to our messages, the Three Guides of the Light. So they had a lot to share. Like that was a lot, right? But it was quite beautiful because it did give more detail on the energies we're feeling, but also the amount of souls departing right now. And having seen this in cycles, it does make sense, again, on that higher level perspective. Now, one of the things, I lost my page here. Oh yeah, I wanted to add that I just really want to highlight these ascension symptoms because, guys, honestly, this is proof things are changing. I love it. And the fact that people are talking about it, this is proof that things are changing. And again, as challenging as times are when people pass, it's important to remember that we will see them again. That's something I really want to share with you guys. That is not a cliche term. We really do see them again. And I can say this from a perspective of a medium for the last decade. I have been doing readings of, past loved ones and friends. And they're around so often, and they find these beautiful ways to communicate with us. And so often they say, this is just but a time where we are apart in physical, but I'm with you anyways, and we will be together again soon. And again, sometimes that sounds cliche, but it's not. And I can say that from that perspective, but I can also say that from when I had my NDE last year. The amazing soul reunions that I had on the other side was so phenomenal. It was the best hugs. It was the best energy. It was the best harmony and bliss and joy and returning home, right? It solidified it in me so much so, even though I already felt so solidified in the understanding life goes on through all my mediumship, my NDE just brought it home. In many ways. But I really want to express that if nothing else, if you guys can hang on to that, it's a time in which you're apart, but you're not apart forever. And so, yes, there is a physical loss of the person and we grieve that, but the soul energy is never gone, and the soul energy is always with you, trying to communicate with you through songs, through messages, numbers, you name it. I've heard so many different creative stories of how Spirit comes through. So, I share that message with a lot of love and compassion in my heart for those of you that have lost people already and have really been struggling. My heart truly goes out to you. And I just feel it deeply. But I'm sending you guys a lot of love and trying to bring through this message of encouragement and beauty of the changes that are in fact happening, because this is really, really good stuff. So I'll leave that with you guys for now. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, and we'll be back soon.